Hi everybody, this is Nancy, and I wanted to share a project that I did. It's did over the weekend. It hasn't taken me very long, but this is a book that I put together using 49 and Market's new collection, Echoes of Time, by Joanne Bain, and it's a different collection that has a relatively like a steampunk vibe. It has watches, gears, like this little animal has his steampunk hat. It has a mix because it does have the gears and the watch faces and things, but there's lots of florals and softness to it. We have papers that have lace accents in it. The papers are just gorgeous. I used a 6x8 collection to put this book together, but everything is printed on the paper. I mean, it's gorgeous without adding anything to it at all. On this particular book, I used the 49 Market Foundation Mixed Up Portrait Album. And this book comes put together. All the pages are already attached in there. We have a flip page, we have a pocket page, we have fold-out pages. There's a belly band included, and we have a couple of extra pieces left, like 4x6s, that flips that you can add in there. When I look at a collection, I look and see whether the 6x8 paper pad, particularly in 49 and Market, is something that I feel I can make one of these mini albums out of. I look also at the designs to determine if it is a vertical or horizontal, design. Are there more of them that are one or the other? A lot of times you've got the background, the back sides that has just a basic paper, so it really you can use those. But I look to see what the orientation is mainly in that pack, and that determines which book I'm going to use. So they make this book in again, not the portrait, but they make it in more of a landscape book. So, but this is why I chose this particular one. I also chose white versus the black. I thought that it was the best for this. Even the black accent would make the book look totally different. I chose the white. The lavender purple, again, is so soft and delicate, and these flowers, we've got lots of like off-whites and these soft sagey green tones. Because the paper is 6x8, I did choose to add a layer behind it as an accent in this purple, and this collection has individual sheets. At least we have them at Scrap Mania, where I basically work out of, that are the solids. And so we have a solids pack, and you can buy solid pieces. This one is a solid that's purple, but then it also has this light purple on it. Doesn't maybe show up as well, but it has that light purple. So they're like two-sided. I did have to pick up an additional sheet of the purple because I used the purple on these pages, and like these are 6 1/4 tall. So again, I didn't have a way to use a double cover off of that page, but I used it as my photo mats and things like that. So the sheet that I chose to put on the front of my book, I'll do a walkthrough of this book for you, it has lots of activity on it. I like the fact that the lace is already printed on a lot of these pieces. Here, there's a lot of activity, but what I chose, because this watch face was there, to emphasize those areas of putting clusters of flowers and stacking them. Again, adding in the greenery and just popping these flowers up. Adding a little bit of Wink of Stella, which is the clear like glitter pen, just to add some accent. Again, that's totally optional. Putting in some of the banners out of the collections. I did pick up the die cuts. I picked up, I think, one of everything. The die cuts, the 6x8 pad of paper, there's chipboards, there are rub-ons, there are 2 collections of lasers. There are laser cut wildflowers, and then we have the laser cut piece that has just the elements, so it has a lot of the gears and things, so I'll show you those. But then we have these banners. I layered the banners, put these gears in, added the like screw head here that are chipboard pieces. A butterfly was layered with some of these floral accents, put some Wicca there. We have a cluster of flowers. This was a gear that I just layered. I have chipboard pieces stacked just to emphasize that. We have the little cat that's hanging off down here. He has his steampunk hat and glasses. And I put a little bit of glossy accents on his glasses. This hang down watch piece is here, and I put glossy accents on that and placed a title. So there is some dimension. It's very hard for me to, I don't know if you can see the dimension, if I can get it at any angle, but there is dimension on the face. This is a sheet that I took, and it was one that I just cut in kind of in half. It's not quite in half. And place this back here. There's the clock and the rabbit. I didn't put anything on the back of this clock face. I thought it would be fine. Then I added a couple of these little yellow flowers. I mean, they're not yellow, they're purple flowers there as accents. And then we have this back page here, which most everything was on here. I did place a little bit of rub-ons here. This clock was a rub-on piece that I put kind of over the floral cluster. There's some ink blots here. You know, I have to kind of feel the rub-ons on 49 Market paper are just so exquisite, and it's easy to kind of miss where they are. This piece right here, this damask kind of piece, is a rub-on. So I added a little more interest to this back page. So that's the cover of the book. I did ink my papers and the edges of my pieces with Distress Iced Spruce. I thought that was a great piece to kind of add in there. So inside the front cover, again, we have a piece of paper that I've used that has lots of accents already on it. The floral clusters, the lace, the stripes, lots of great things, options, some gears. I put a 3x4 picture in there. I layered a gear piece here. Some tickets I did add. I just off of the ticket collections that they have at 49 Market. So I had my different ones out and used those. Then I put a little flower and my fun little rabbit with his watch, and he's got some glossy accents on that. This is the page that they have in the book that starts with a gatefold, and they're suggesting a belly band. Well, I really didn't want to have to take the belly band off and onto the page, so I took the belly band piece, adhered it to my base piece before I put my 6x8 on. I did put a little bit more of a gusset, about an 1/8 inch, just so when these fold, they can take the width of the paper. So I hid that belly band part, but it still functions kind of as a flip cover. So it's split in two, and I just took my paper, used each half on there. There's really nothing going on here but just the paper. I open it up, and I have the stripe accents on the sides. Put a couple of 2x2 photos there, accented with like this flower and the butterfly. These cool luggage pieces down here. And again, this light, which just has ropes and gears, as kind of a, not exactly a chandelier, but just a fun light. This is a real pretty piece that has the grid pattern on there. It probably doesn't show up super well on the video, but it has the grid pattern. There's a lot going on. There's nothing else added to this outside. No extra rub-ons or anything. But I did add this great piece of laser cut, this frame. I layered a solid, semi-solid piece. It's like an accent piece off of one of my 6x8s behind the window, just to give it some type of window appearance instead of having all the grid work showing through. And I layered the really cool owl sitting on the window shelf. So this has real funky kind of steampunk vibes with the pipes. It's very interesting. It was an interesting paper, something I really, different than what I worked with. Covering up again my flaps with, again, the light purple, the dark purple, putting down this really fun little steampunk hat, and he's got glossy accents on the eyeglasses, and that was all one piece with some florals there. Putting this fun little kind of tab to hide my magnet with the timeless on the rabbit. These are just die cut pieces, and then the clock piece on the front, again using glossy accents there, and putting this really nice vine piece there with a butterfly. This is the back side of that, adding a couple of 3x4 pictures, and these will be 4x3s if you go the width times the height. Then we've got like almost those little, like, they're not really Polaroids, they were the the slide projector things you used to do as a kid. And I cut it in half so I have it pattern on both sides from the front. This is just an accent piece. It does nothing. I just wanted to put a little more accent and tie my little twine up there. Again, really fun accent of this pipe with the gauge on there, but glossy accents there. This is just kind of a newsprint paper back there. This is one of the flips that I put in, and again, attaching it inside, making it a 4x6 photo flip, adding a rub-on and a rub-on. So it's just another photo opportunity. This is a fold-out page here. Again, I've made it fold the right to left. This would very easily, you could take and fold it back the other way if you wanted to. I left it in there. I thought it just functioned better this way. This paper here has lots of printed decorative elements on it with the lace and the gears and the vines. Lots of some little newsprint features, so it doesn't require anything else on this paper. This center section with the stripe is there. I placed a 4x3 photo there, accented with the floral cluster, a little gear. These staples repeat quite a few times on the rub-on, so I've placed those at the top corner. Folding the page out, again, this inside middle piece is the green background. It's the back side of the page, and I actually think it's the same. It was the back of this page. So green, use the light green paper off my 12x12s to map my photos, placing a little gear and a leaf there with some staples in the corners and a chipboard title. This piece is a very active, lots on the page. I use this section here as the paper on the spine of the book. So it's cut just the side probably of that green, but there's, you know, the green and kind of the rosy or red color, not as much of the purple. Then these two clock faces have glossy accents on them. I did add a couple of gears down in here, which are from, I believe these probably are from the laser cuts, and a title that I popped up. So really nothing on this page. It's just a fun page to look at. We go to the back of that. This paper here is just a very soft print. I added a 4x6 photo. Again, it's got, there's a pink and a kind of a dusty pink paper. Got a piece of it right here that I can show you. And I use the pink as my photo mat. Again, using one of those very cool rope gear like lantern lamps, chandelier on there. This is a flip that's going to flip up and out and open. So I'll show you the first page on here, the top page. Again, everything on here, there's lace elements and flowers, some more gears, again, the cluster, this really nice kind of black gray lace. Lots of activity on these pages. They're so well done. It looks like you've already layered so many things. I did place a cluster of flowers up here at the top, just to kind of help enhance some of these clusters that are here, and this great bird cage element from the laser cuts. So if you open this up, what you're going to see is this inside page. And this is a grid, again, one of those grid papers that are on there. So there's something going on there. I mean, it looks like all kinds of elements at the top. Looks like you've layered a whole bunch of rub-ons. This floral cluster, like a stamp, mail stamp, this lace, the flower with the pipe. So lots going on. I just chose to put the 1 3x4 picture in the middle and place this really fun umbrella that's out of the laser cuts. So then if you opened it up to the top, we have this paper that is the back of another one that I'm not exactly sure what was on the back side, but I used it because I thought it would help break up the flowers and give me something else to use with these diamonds. And I put a 4x4 picture matted on the green paper, some floral leafy elements, I should say, a title, and then again, it looks like almost like a surveying tool here. I put glossy accents on the dial, lots of vines and pipe wrench looking things, very steampunky. So now we've looked at this, we'll kind of pull this bottom page again. It mirrors, it has the same diamond pattern in that green. It has a chipboard title. Again, the 4x4 picture down here, matted with green, and this is a pipe element that has lots of ivy vines on it. Then I place, this is a element that is a laser element that's a clock face, and I put that on top and popped it up with foam tape and put glossy accents on the dial. So the top and the bottom appear, they have that same look. Now this is another one of those 4x6 flips that I chose to put inside this page. So it's just a photo opportunity. Again, placing another fun element of the pipes and the gauges here. Putting the glossy accents on those dial faces. This is a paper that I'm trying to feel. Again, I didn't write it all down. I don't know. I believe that this was a pink piece of paper, I'm going to be honest with you. And this was the rub-on with the floral cluster here with some more flowers layering on top with foam tape. This is the kind of the watch face type of element, but it didn't have the face of it in there. It's just a ring. I placed a piece of paper in there to make it resemble if you put a photo in there. Using my tickets again, tucking tickets, layering tickets, placing the gears there, a little butterfly there. This chair is, again, a laser cut element. It's got all kinds of like boards and steampunk type of buckles on it, so it's very fun. So let's put this page in. I didn't put a magnet because I thought it stayed relatively closed well, and I didn't need that. This is the back of that page, and this paper here, I think I actually have an extra sheet here just to show you where I started. And this is where I started with this paper. It's got, a floral cluster there and over here, but I chose to layer another one of my laser element, these frame pieces here. I believe that's a laser. I don't think it's one of my die cuts, but that frame element, which is again very fancy. This is very lacy, eyelet-y type of a white frame, but I wanted to lay a little bit more, and it's popped up so you could actually stick something else down in there if you wanted to, or if you had a really fun picture. Then I layered on top of that, somewhat emulating what this cluster looks like, another larger cluster, and popped that up. Then I tucked a ticket in and put the bird cage there. So just beefing up that paper a little bit and changing it, and again adding layers. This is the pocket page that's included with the book, and there's a piece that, and this is not, this is just one of my 6x8s that I placed in there. And as I have looked at the book and kind of thought about the fact that I actually cut the hole out of the page of the pocket. Okay, so I covered the sheet and put in a cutting mat and cut it out a square the size that I needed. And then I placed the frame that had this acetate. This is an acetate piece that is a Tim Holtz piece out of his collection. He's got a couple acetate pieces, and I put that behind that window. After I cut the hole, I said I probably could have made it a lot easier by just layering all those pieces together and attaching to the front, and I wouldn't have had to have cut the hole. By cutting the hole, I use this, again, this is a piece of 6x8 paper that came in the pack, and I took an element and centered it so it would show through the window, layered up some rub-ons on there, some gears, and put just a little bit of some scrap purple, like a border behind it, where if I had put this all in there, this could be like a photo page if I wanted it. I have a pull-out with these tabs here, these like labels. The other side of it, again, this was the paper. What I added to this paper as I'm feeling it is this kind of quatrefoil pattern, and I actually added this that has the clock with the rub-ons. But then this just goes back in here, and you can see the florals in behind there. Trying to get this back in the little hole and kind of scoot it down there. So you see the flowers through the hole. I then again layered cluster of flowers and some gears down in here to add some accents at different heights. Okay. Then this is the back side of that pocket. So these are the last 2 pages in the book. Again, this paper was totally like, you know, it's got all the flowers. I added the butterfly, which is this gorgeous large butterfly that we have in our collection. And it's got, I think this is a laser cut. And I put some Wink of Stella on the butterfly wings, which I have done in several places on the butterflies and some of the leaves. Then we have, again, this really great pipe gauge or element. I popped that up. There is a couple of I don't know if you can see those, kind of half circle scalloped pieces that I put this one down there just as an accent. So those are the items that I have as accents on the book. Then this last page here is just the page exactly how you see it. I did nothing to it at all. It has, you know, like the watch faces and the open watch face, all these floral clusters. I could add some more floral clusters if I wanted to. You could put a photo back there if you were making this into a photo album. Someone else had said it would be a great memorabilia for like maybe a wedding, something for maybe an anniversary book. It's very soft and delicate, so even for like a birthday, a women's birthday. But that was the book that I made with this new collection. Again, I have a hole in this, so I don't want to turn over too much. This is the Echoes in Time, and there's laser cut elements. And the laser cut elements tend to be more steampunky with all those fun, the cat, the hats, the chairs, the luggage, the cool lighting element, some frames, keys, different things like that. There are a few flowers, so it has that more steampunky vibe to it. The next, if you really didn't want that, there are some papers that are very muted and pretty in 12 by 12s. There's the Solid Collection kit. But then there's one that does nothing but, like, these are all these really gorgeous flowers in those lavender kind of purple tones. There's, I've used, you know, quite a bit. There's ivy pieces cut out, butterflies. There are a few gears on this page, but very little. But again, these great elements, you know, how delicate the 49 and Market laser cuts are. The butterfly was out of this collection. And again, these large clusters of flowers here. Single flowers. So you could get the laser cut wildflower collection if you really didn't want that steampunk type of effect. Again, there are a couple of pages that I have left off of my 6x8 collection. I showed you that has the newsprint on the back. This is the other half that I used off of the spine, which you saw in the book. And here's just a basic kind of a very subtle green paper with, I have to always look and see at the writing, with a few different things on there. I mean, this lace border, these things look like they are absolutely layered with clusters already. Again, here's another piece that has more floral on the side with the clocks in the background. It has that stripe. And then this piece is the same as that one, so I have two of those. And I have a green piece. I think I showed you this one earlier. This one's lots of activity with a picture on there. It's great. So I had some pieces left over. I will probably use something of this to do maybe some cards or a scrapbook layout. These are the rub-on transfers where you get 3 sheets of them. And there's some of these elements I've used in a lot of your ink splotches, some flowers, again, words, the clocks. I've used some of these fun like chains and a lot of the staple pieces. So I still have a lot of those left in there. Then the last thing, well, not last, we have 2 other things. There is the chipboard bits. And these, I have a lot of those titles in. They've got rings, they've got numbers, they've got kind of tags and elements you could put on some of your folder tabs. There are really pretty yesterday, today, tomorrow floral tags. It might be difficult to see through the cellophane. Some words, numbers. So the chipboard frames are fun that you can use. And this is the last one that I have. This is these are the die cut elements, and I have lots left. See if I can get it so you can see them. Again, I used the element with this window that has all the pipes on it. We've got some file folders. There's 3 file folders in there. There are pipes, which I use some. There's these little tabs that have the owl. We have an owl and a rabbit on them. There is like a turtle on there. There's lots of fun pieces. Some of these clock openings, some tickets, nail screw heads. So lots of good things in that packet too. So that's what I wanted to share for you. And again, it's 49M Market, and it is Echoes of Time. Great new collection. So thanks for stopping by and watching my little video. Have a great day, and hope you stop and you can pick this kit up someplace. See you later.